Good morning, gamers! Welcome back to Hellstormwargaming. I hope you're all doing well. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for managing to pull yourself away from oblivion for 5 minutes to come tune into my stream. Hello! Hello, hello, hello. How are we doing today? Thank you so much for tuning in. We got a lot to talk about today. We got some new rules from GW. To look at. We've also got an interesting topic about games dying, which I thought would be interesting to have a look at. But overall, we're just here to chat, shoot the shit, say hi. I'm sure my chat will work at any minute. I'm sure the chat will work at any minute now. It's going to catch up. Where are you? Chat, where are you? I can't see you. None of my chat's working. You're going to have to keep spamming. So good morning. Randoma guy, late. Wasn't late, was I? Ben Pierce, good morning to you, matey. What's up? I can't stay, man. Man's working hard. Is he, though? Is he actually? I saw him booting up Starfield. Yo, Brennan, thanks for the gifted, dude. Brennan, thanks so much for the gifted membership. As well as Organ, thanks for the 36 months. Oh yeah, Governor, good morning to you, matey. Appreciate you. Thank you so much, guys. That's really kind of you. That's super duper kind of you. Really appreciate you. What a legend. Thank you for kicking us off on our game. It has only updated 1, though, which is a bit of a scam. Sorry, apologies. It has only updated 1, but there's chat. There you are. You've come back. If you enjoy the streams, you want to support, there is a little thing. There you go. It's caught up now. There's a little thing. We've got a little game going on. Okay, we got a little game going on. And basically, every time someone super chats, becomes a member, does any of the things, does any of the cool things that support the channel, whether on YouTube or Twitch, because I'm live on both, it'll count the number at 1. And we're trying to get the number to beat our high score of 27.
Mikey!
Good morning, Papaya!
£5. Morning, everyone.
Good morning, Papaya. Thank you so much. Can you share a link to Georgie's charity bracelet thing? I should be able to, yes. Give me 1 second. Found it. It's all right. Took me literally 1 second. Okay. Chat, if you didn't know, all right. If you didn't know, Georgie is making some charity bracelets. Okay. We've got this one. Trans rights are human rights. We've got this one. Very cool. Very epic. We've also got this one. Free Palestine. Okay. She's making some bracelets in exchange for donations to charity. So if you'd like to get one, I'm going to post a link. I'm going to post a link in the chat now. So Brennan, there's the link. If you want to support a charity and get a cool bracelet to say thanks, then you can grab a trans rights and human rights and free Palestine. Okay? Fuck Israel and fuck the UK Supreme Court, that's what I say. So if you'd like to support some charities, grab a cool bracelet as well, then make sure you jump on it and go drop Georgie a message via that Google form. She's not asking for anything, she just says, can you make a donation? That'd be really cool. Okay? And if you're outside the UK, maybe a little bit of help towards postage, but she's grafting. Paula, she's in the mines. She's mining those bracelets for you. So, up the Georgie, dude. Thank you so much for the team, I really appreciate it. Up the Georgie indeed. Yeah, it's fucking shit what's happening. So she's just like, she's just trying to do her little thing, you know? So she likes making bracelets. She was like, I want to help. I don't know how. And I was like, why don't you make bracelets? She was like, that's a good idea. So yeah. So if you'd like to support her doing her thing, so like support a charity at the same time, then follow that link. Fill in the form. And all he's asking is for like what you want. Because I told her, she was like, I don't want to set up a Just Giving page. So I don't care about that. And I was like, yeah, that's fair. But I also don't want to just direct people to your Instagram messages. Shows the bracelets again. I've got quite a few. I'll play these ones as well. But we got this one. We got this one. We got Trans Pride. Shout out to my trans homies. And then we've got the Free Palestine one. We got the Palestinian flag. Also got this one. This is Cloud and Ingy in a bracelet form. As you can see, it's got Cloud's eyes, and it's got her nose because it's pink, and it's got her fur because it's grey and white, and then it's got Inky that's black and gold because he's got golden eyes. And then this one says Karma because Karma is my boyfriend. Where's the crack bracelet? I've not got that one on today. I ain't got that one on today, bro. So yeah, so if you'd like to support a charity, get a bracelet for saying thanks. There's a way to say thanks, then follow that form. And yeah, she says... Yeah, she's giving some like recommendations for charities, such as Transactional Gendered Intelligence, Mermaid Switchboard, and Not a Face. If you'd like to donate to a charity to support Palestine, there's Palestinian Children's Relief Fund and the Medical Aid for Palestinians. And yeah, it's just basically what type of bracelet you'd like, and what size and where you are, so she knows how to send them to you. So there's that. So shout out to Georgie, what an absolute legend. Love her to bits. Love her to bits. Not just Mikey's models that are based. It's true. It's true. Trans rights are human rights, never forget it. Okay? They just want to exist, and that's all. Not really asking a lot, to be honest. Not really asking a whole bunch. Just want to exist. Want to be able to go to the bathroom in peace, you know? Anyway, I need to tell the entire team on Discord that I'm going live, so give me 2 seconds while I do that. Because we don't use bots anymore. Bots cringe. Bots cringe. Yo, I'm live again. It's Wednesday, my dudes. It's Wednesday, my dudes. Fucking dead tabletop games and Death Guard stuff. Bam. The local even called bots droids. God, that would be cool, wouldn't it? That would be cooler. That'd be so ideal. Why you can do tabletop games? Funny. Funny. How do I get a bracelet? Follow the link I just posted. No, not that link. Ignore that. That's just what I copied a second ago. Follow that link. So how's it been? How you been? We've had a couple of days. Games Workshop have put out some more stuff about Death Guard and World Eaters. And as I mentioned on Monday, it's all news to me. It's all news to me. Don't expect any Codex breakdown this weekend, that's for sure, because I'm getting fucking bent over backwards at the minute for some reason. I'm getting like, oh, just fuck off, Mikey. That's what it feels like. They've shown off some new rules for Death Guard and World Eaters. Let's have a look. Let's just chill. What we want is... I know what we want. My new favourite song. Check me out. Okay, so I've showed off some new Death Guard and World Eaters rules, and they've actually showed off the rules for the new characters. The single new character that you only say thanks for if you play Death Guard and World Eaters. Me being one of them. So they showed off the new rules. They've not really added much else. But they have talked about the Lord of Poxers. Let's have a look at him. Not like that. Not like that. Like this. There you go. So you got the new Lord of Poxers. So this is the new character that did have super glue all over his back. Just to remind you. He's a leader. I think the most interesting thing to take away from is, one, he has a 4+ invulnerable save, which on smaller characters isn't crazy. Okay? Isn't crazy. It doesn't happen very often. He's also T6. He's also toughness 6. Now, is this a just because he's a cool character, or is this a standardized new thing for Plague Marines, where they're the same toughness as Custodes? Perhaps evil Custodes. Maybe that's where they're going to go from. I'm wondering whether Plague Marines might have 4+ invuln. I doubt that. But he's pretty good. 5 wounds, T6, 3 up, 4+ invuln. OC1, leadership 6. Now, you can actually look at that profile, not even considering all of this, okay? You can actually look at this profile and go, huh, Mikey, that looks really familiar. I'm like, yeah, it does. It looks like a higher point of toughness on a Chaos Lord. Now, I know he's called Lord of Poxers, but he's also 1 point higher toughness than a Chaos Lord. I think this is your Chaos Lord equivalent. And I don't think Death Guard will have access to Chaos Lords or Terminator Lords. you know? Which they currently do. I'm pretty sure they have like Chaos Lords and Terminator Lords right now. Death Guard have a lot of characters, a hell of a lot. So people are like, why they added another one? I think this is the Chaos Lord equivalent, you know? He's a bit smashy in combat, strength 8, mana 2 damage, devastating wounds with lethal. So he's essentially got a devastating power fist, you know? And he's got a plasma pistol. Who else has power fists and plasma pistols? Like every lord and captain in the game. They all have power fists and they all have plasma pistols. So I think the Lord of Poxers, whilst people are like, oh, it's another buff character, I don't think it is. I think it's another Smash character, you know? So it looks cool. I like it. I like the look of it. Obviously, his abilities are, obviously, he's quite smashy in combat, which is nice. He's a little murder captain. He's got +3 inch range to this model's contagion range, which is a bit annoying because it's only the model, not the unit, which meaning the -1 toughness, the whatever other aura you go for is +3 range on him exclusively. And it says, while this model's leading unit, that unit cannot be targeted by range attacks unless the attacking model is within 18, which is a very unique rule for Death Guard and for like a captain of this, a character of this nature. And you know what else is unique? Making this go bigger. Dare you. Dare you to refill this chat. Got 2 minutes left. So Lone Operative 18 is pretty nice, but I feel like this is a buff character rule on a Smash character that I kind of want to get in there. You know? Now, Lone Operative 18 is fine. If this guy's super cheap, if he's like... I mean, some Death Guard characters are like 45 points, by the way. If he's like 45 points, he's the most broken character in the Codex, but he won't be. He's going to be like 80 or 90. So he's just fine. Lone Operative 18 is fine. You know, like, a lot of the time, the units, you don't want them to get shot, but you've got... Death Guard have cheap enough units that can hide at the back of the board that don't need to be Lone Operative. You know, because obviously, it's a similar rule to Lone Operative. So when I say Lone Operative, I mean 18 inches. They don't really need it, or they're tough enough to withstand it. And they don't really... A lot of the units are quite expensive, so if they have a unit that this can attach to, they're usually trying to do something, not just sit at the back of the board. You know? Like, turn 1, great. Okay, we can run up and get, like, a flank objective and not get targeted turn 1. Great. After that, we don't know. Now, I know someone's in chat saying, don't most Lisa Votan characters have a 4+ invuln? Yeah, but we're talking about Death Guard, bro. Put the crack down. We're talking about Death Guard. So obviously we can compare it to current characters, but we don't know how the characters are going to, if the characters are going to change. You know, if the Foul Blight spawn cells fight first, then you're probably still going to think about a Foul Blight spawn. But if a Foul Blight spawn has fight first and the rules stay the same, you can probably attach this guy and a Foul Blight spawn to the same unit, which would be pretty nice. You know, Lone Operative Foul Blight spawn that fights first with this guy in there. That would be pretty cool. But we don't know how the rules are going to change, you know? We're going to have to wait for the reviewers to put something out. Not me. So it's all right if you pop a Rhino. If they're going a Rhino, which is likely, you pop a Rhino, they fall out. They're not going to get shot. You know? But I think he's going to be... I don't think he's going to be cheap. He's going to be like 100 points or something, you know? Clonk! Thanks for the 5! Clonk, dude! Thank you for the 5 gifted. Holy shit! Dude, he's gonna... Is it... Oh, just refresh. Let's go. Clonk, dude. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the 5 gifted. I really appreciate you. What an absolute legend. Let's get some hype in the chat for Clonk. Make sure you say thank you. Bloodclaw Bob, Kosaku 2, Squid, 13, and Eddie Sanchez. Make sure you say huge thanks. Wasn't Lord of Contagion already a Chaos Lord equivalent? Lord of Contagion is probably a Terminator Lord equivalent, right? Clark, thanks so much, dude. Really appreciate you. What a legend. What a lovely human. Thank you for supporting the channel. Really appreciate it. So yeah, so this is... Did he have that? Where's my phone? Chat, I've left my phone. BRB. I need my phone for the rule. Wait. Chat, where's my phone gone? Chat, where's my phone? I lost it. I can't check the rules. I'm sure I had a phone. Right, okay. I don't have a phone anymore. Never mind. These leaked images? Nope. Chat, someone ring me. Never mind, it's gone. How do you check rules without a phone these days? I'd have to go to the Death Guard index. I can't remember what I was checking now. Oh, they had Chaos Lord. That was it. They have Typhus. They have Death Guard Chaos. Yeah, they do have a Death Guard Chaos Lord. Who gives rerolls once to hit. Who is move 5, T5, 3 up save, 4 up invuln, 5 wounds, 6 plus leadership, 1 OC. So I think the Chaos Lords and the Chaos Lords in Terminator armor are definitely out. Maybe even the Sorcerer. I like the Sorcerer. The Sorcerer is great, but maybe even the Sorcerer is gone. And I think this confirms it. This is just really new Chaos Lord. They have 2 Terminator Lords with the Lord of Virulence and the other one. No. They have the Chaos Lord in Terminator armor, Lord of Virulence, and Lord of Contagion. They have 3. Please don't say the Sorcery's gone. I only bought 2 earlier this month. RIP. Why would you buy new models before a Codex? Clonk, love you, but oh dear. Oh dear. Stupid question, why are we shying away from keywords even if the keywords sound silly? Yeah, like they should be, they went to like generic rules, like core abilities, and then just decided to keep giving out the same ability with a new name. But it's Lone Operative 18, so it's slightly different. So you can't just say Lone Op. But yeah, they should be like Lone Operative and Shrouded in Mystery, maybe. I thought they'd be saved, Clonk Brave. So, a decent character, a nice replacement. You don't really see Death Guard Terminator Lords. The ability is nice, depending on how cheap it is. That's what brackets are for. Yeah, true. True. It's a bit of annoyance among the general Warhammer community, I would say, for 40k. Stuff like sticky objectives isn't a core rule, for some reason. Any try, but your phone is on silent or downstairs. Why do you have my number? I don't remember where I put it. It's gone. It's gone forever. Maybe the banner dude gets rolled into units so the unit can get +3 contagion. Yeah, there's like a couple of like odd. I feel like they made that banner dude separate character just because of nostalgia, and I just feel like he should be part of the unit. Okay. So that's a Lord of Poxers. The Slaughterbound, on the other hand, is weird. The Slaughterbound. What did this say about the Lord? This is withholding 8 Bloodthirsters all together. And he's got the same profile as this guy, except he doesn't have lethal because it's not rusting. He doesn't have devastating wounds either. But once per battle, he can get +3 attacks and dev wounds. You know? But move 10, T6, 3 up save, 5 up invuln, 6 wounds, which is nice. 6 attacks, strength 8, mana 2/2, very good profile. Can attach to both attacks of 8 bound. If his model is attached to World Eater's possessed, so they've confirmed that 8 bound are just possessed now. Join the declare battle formation to the end battle. This model has deep strike and scout 6, so he can't deep. He's not a single model you can deep strike, which is kind of annoying. He's not a single model you can scout, which is kind of annoying. But he does heal models, and once per game he can get dev wounds and +3 attacks. Everyone crying about the profile can go to hell. Double the move, +3 attacks, 8 bound attachment makes him correct. Well, Angwan, we don't know anything yet, do we? You don't attach this guy, you're running solo. Yeah, you could send them as little torpedoes, right? You could send them as little torpedoes. Plus he gets enhancements. That's true. That's true. It does get enhancements. Now, obviously, a lot of people have gone and read all the leaks and stuff. I haven't, just because I shouldn't. Even though I won't be reviewing this book. Why is he weaker than Poxy? Wow. Nah, it's just kind of funny, right? +3 attacks and death wounds is meant, don't get me wrong. With all the buffs, it's funny. But just like on paper, it's funny that this guy has death wounds and lethal hits as standard. And this guy just has the same amount of attacks and doesn't. And he's the combat guy. Someone in the design team holding a monkey's paw heard people cry for a world eater's apothecary. He's sick, it will be cheap. I imagine he will be. I'm surprised he doesn't really like... I mean, he does revive stuff. I'm surprised he doesn't really like buff the 8-bound to make them a little bit better. But until we've seen the full book, we don't really know. We don't really know. But +3 attacks is great. It is really good. But he also doesn't affect the unit. I just realised. I thought his death wounds were the unit. Don't know if Poxwalker's battle line. No idea, mate. Those have been hit really hard, so my bet is points going down. World League's horde incoming. Yeah, if they turn into a horde army, World League is going to be super scary because they hit like a brick, but they're quite elite right now. And I personally think that like things like Angron will probably shoot up in points to match Fulgrim. Also, Resin is just a maiden for World Eaters. That's effectively plus 3.6-inch move with a 2-inch engagement and 40mm base if you've lost a model. Yeah, the Resin model is probably the biggest ability that you need to think about if you are attaching him. Like you say, because being able to revive a model, you see it with everything, with like any reviving, it's great for objective control. Now, Slaughterbound and 8-bound aren't going to be grabbing objectives too well off people, but you see it a lot with like Guard, for example. Being able to revive before you count for scoring objectives is great because you can sometimes steal objectives back off your opponent. If they're like, well, I beat you by 1. Well, it's like, okay, I revived 2, so I get 2 back. Now, obviously, Slaughterbound and 8-bound are only OC1, so not super crucial, but it's something to think about. If they try and contest an objective, you can always revive 1 and take it back. And also, like Angron says, being able to revive... Sound like I didn't use my computer yesterday, can't you? If you've got some 8-bound here, for example, and then a Slaughterbound at the back, or the front even, when you come to move, if you're like behind a wall, you can go 2-inch coherency and drop 1 here, you know? Which is effectively giving you that an additional move of like we said, 3-ish inches. And then you go on to move, you know? I don't think they're durable enough to get value out of reanimation 1 model in command phase. It's not crazy.
Mikey! Super chat £3.
Thanks, Shadow.
Cornflakes.
Thanks for the 3, dude. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate it, buddy. Very kind of you. So yeah, so being able to res, you can essentially get free movement before you actually start moving. You can grab objectives, which is nice. I'm just surprised it's not damage 3. I think personally, I'm just surprised he's not damage 3, considering 8-bound are damage 2. You know? But that's just me. That's just what I think. Anything else we missed? Except for the possessed keyword. But I don't think that's going to change too much. The Lord of Poxes has grenades. Very nice. The Slaughterbound does not have grenades. The Slaughterbound does not have grenades. don't think what else it could interact with, because when you've got keywords with no context, it's a bit weird to think about. But we've got demon and possess. So possess will just be referring to the detachment that he goes in. I wonder if you could do with demon. I did deck. I did see. I'll get back to your question in a minute. But I did see that the Lord of Pox is T6. So they both look really good. They do both look really good. It's a shame that the Slaughterbound can't naturally deep strike or naturally scout. It has to be attached to a unit. Would that be too crazy? A little deep striking little combat choppy monster that just YOLOs in, chops shit up and dies. I don't think that'd be crazy. You know? I don't think that'd be too wild, to be honest. His ability is a little meh, but the attack profile is awesome. Could be him with 5 Marines and the Marines get a new ability. Gongai does get all the blessings, so does have lethal and sustain most of the time. Also very true. Move 10, he doesn't need scout. Yeah, imagine move 10 and scout. If he deep shot, you know he's just being an action monkey. Is that such a problem? Action, leave? You know? Oh, that's a point. We can look at one of the detachments now. The Grotmos detachment. And how he interacts with it. That's a good idea. Vessels of Wrath. So you can change the blessing for him because it's any World Eater's character, which is nice. What enhancements can he take? Where's my zoom not making? Improve the armor penetration of melee weapons by 1, while the bearer is a Vessel of Wrath, improve damage. You can make him strength 8 -3, 3 damage for 25 points. Alright. Each time you destroy them with a melee attack, roll a d6, add a 1 to the result. On 4+. Okay, whatever. Fight on death on 2+. And then give it fly. Not too crazy. Not too crazy. Wait, I just realised. Why does he have Deadly Demise? Sorry, why does he have Deadly Demise? Inky, why does he have Deadly Demise, bro? Deadly 2+ Deadly Demise at D3+1 is funny. Is that the first time we've seen Deadly Demise on like a 50mm model? He counts as a vehicle when dying, yeah. But he's got bloodthirst in him. I mean, I guess so. So you can't use that one. Infantry. Reroll wounds against monsters with +1 damage would be very good. Excuse me. Someone's attacking me drawers. Stop something falling back. Okay, not crazy. In the blood surge move. Might as well do wound on him is decent as well at T6. Must be those bloodthirsters escaping on death. Yeah, just funny that a 50mm model explodes 6 inches. Has a 12-inch aura of explosion. Well, 12, nearly 14 inches of explosion. Why is it solid music? I'm on a random playlist. Because we're thinking about the Slaughterbound's death. You know? Have you thought about the Slaughterbound dying? Oh my god. Did you even consider the Slaughterbound dead? Don't think you did, and that's the problem. Bit of a you problem, I would say. Welcome to Dawn of War inspired huge splash. So, yeah. Mine will never die as my opponents will be tabled. Where were you when the Slaughterbound died? So yeah, they look like pretty good profiles. A lot of boxes is great. I love the lot of boxes, very good ability. Just depends on cost. Just depends on cost. The Slaughterbound, I feel like a lot more context is needed. Doesn't look crazy on paper. Look decent. Dev wounds and +2 attacks, 9 attacks with dev wounds is great. Give him +1 damage and rerolling to hit and win against monsters in that detachment is pretty mental. And he can heal 8 bound, which is pretty good. Which will be scary. We're going to have a lot of scouting and a lot more infiltrating as well, because obviously World Eaters, we haven't really seen Goremongers too much. So when they get this new book, they're going to have Goremongers in play. Don't you go on my desk, Inky? Ink. Inky, bro. Come on. Come down. You've already knocked a model over. Come down. As soon as I stand up, he runs away as well. Little shit. He knows he's not allowed up there. Prick. Both are great little enhancement carriers and are fine. Yeah, like the Lone Operative 18's fine. The Lone Operative 18's fine. The Slaughterbound seems fine. It's going to depend on points and how they synergize. No kill team play can buy Goremongers because the 40k players are buying them all. Well, they made them really good in 40k. What do you expect? I'll sell you mine. I'll say my Goremongers for 100 quid. I feel that's reasonable. How much is the starter box for kill team? 75? 100? I'll say for 99. People play kill team. At least 3. At least 3 people play kill team. I do love whoever's their new Photoshopper just adding random effects onto everything. Look, we got rain, look. Just random white lines. I should probably take some tips about this because this does look pretty good. Imagine this in a thumbnail. Looks great. But it is just an 8 bound, isn't it? 60 quid. Alright, I'll do my Goremonger for 59. Play your friends. Tell your kill team friends. 59. Save £1. I do love the Lord of Pox. It's such a nice model, isn't it? It's such a nice model, I think. I think it's so good. It's all bound, yeah, whatever. It's fucking 8 bound. Great. The Lord of Boxers just looks beast. I love how chonky he is. Even more chonky than a normal Death Guard guy. And the sword's sick. The sword is so sick. But that's all I've said, chat. That's all I've said. They haven't said anything else just yet. We're going to have to wait till Saturday. Or you can just Google it, I guess. But that's it. That's about it for Death Guard. I like the little Poxers. I think it looks good. I think it just solidifies more of the crossover characters with Chaos Space Marines are going to go out the window. I like that he's actually low on random Nurgle garbage. Yeah, it's not that much, right? He's got his little, he's got a little apron pipe thing, little cloak, and that's about it. Love the highlighting, not super on the sword. Shut the fuck up, dude. Holy shit. Highlighted, it's a big bulge. Yeah, the Berserk sword is amazing. The Berserk sword is good. I like it. Why about this open 3 times? Anyway, chat. Do you think 40k is thriving? Do you think 40k is thriving? Because I think it is. I think overall, I think a lot of people have a lot of things to moan about. They love a bitch and moan about it. But I think overall, the game is doing pretty well. But not all of them do well all of the time. You know? Sometimes games just die. And it's a bit sad. Tibbles, how you doing, bud? Mike, have you lost weight? I don't know. I don't really check. Terrible segue, by the way. Shut the fuck up. I saw a video by Tali. 2,000 subscribers. 57,000 views, which I thought was really interesting. I think it's because we had no models or credits from like last September to January. It feels really good now. Yeah, we had such a delay, such a pause that was like really strange, you know? Let me put my chair back so my cat's not trying to get on my desk. I think this September to January pause really like threw people off, I think. And it was like a bit poo. It was a bit poo. It just like really put a like a... It sounded like someone snuffing out the flame for a little bit. And it just kind of like killed all the excitement. Well, there was a video by Tali the other day, 8 days ago, called The Avoidable Downfall of Star Wars Tabletop Games, which has 57,000 views and released 8 days ago, which I thought we could have a look at. Because I'm a big fan of Star Wars games. I'm currently working on a Shatterpoint video, because Shatterpoint's a great game, but I've played nearly every Star Wars game released, I think. You know? Tabletop game or card game, I've played a lot of them. So I thought we could take a look at this video and I could give you my feedback. I haven't played Armada. Used to play X-Wing. Used to play Destiny. I've played the new Star Wars Unlimited. I played Legion. And I played Shatterpoint. Well, I played. I wouldn't say I'm any good at them. Imperial Assault. Oh, man. What a game. Imperial Assault was such a good game, dude. Chad, have you ever played a Star Wars game? Did you play Attack of the Clones Top Trumps? Ironically, unironically, yes, I did. Yes, I did. So yeah, chat, let me know if you've played Star Wars game, a tabletop or card game. I've played Imperial Assault, X-Wing, and Legion. Oh, a connoisseur, a man of taste. Only played X-Wing, really enjoy it. X-Wing's great. "4K is a constant tension between hype releases and actual being a good game to play, in my opinion. I love AOS as a game because it gets so much grief because it was clearly designed as a game with models first." Yeah, I totally agree there, mate. I totally agree, dude. I think 40k is in a great place, and I think the way that their releases are right now, I don't like double codex drops personally, just because I feel like it's so much to take in at once. But maybe that's because of what I do. If I got a double drop and I played World Eaters and Death Guard, maybe I'm hype. I don't really care about Death Guard this week. Big fan of Shatterpoint. Try again. Bragg says X-Wing. Glarg says I still play Legion on a 40k break. That's fair. So I have Legion there. I've had that for 2 years. I still haven't built it, but I played Legion. I had loads of Rebel stuff, and then I realized I didn't care about the Rebels. and then I was like, but I don't want to paint Stormtroopers. But you know what I love? Revenge of the Sith and Attack of the Clones. So I bought the May the 4th bundle with Anakin and like the Clone Trooper starter set. I ain't done shit with it. I ain't done shit with it, to be honest. But I really should. But I used to play so much X-Wing. So much X-Wing. God damn, did I play a lot of sex. Nearly a slip. So I played so much Sex-Wing. I played so much X-Wing with a friend from work. So I used to play loads of games, right? Probably like 2014, 2015. I used to play so many tabletop games and get all my friends to play all tabletop games as well. I was playing Dystopia Wars, Dystopia Legions, the one that's on the ground, that's Ground Command, Ground Assault, I think it's called. Firestorm Ground Assault, I can't remember what it's called. I used to play that. I played War Machine. I played X-Wing. I played Imperial Assault. I played so much. So much. And then I started playing X-Wing with a friend from work, which was like, bear in mind, I used to work at university, okay? And I got a job at the university through a program because essentially, long story short, all of the staff were aging. It was kind of like an allegory for the modern day where the population was aging and they needed to do something to fix it. Well, at the university had the same problem with employees. So rather than getting everyone to fuck on Sex-Wing, they just hired younger staff. And I was one of them. And yeah, so I started playing with it. Just sounds funny because I was like 19, 20, and on a Friday night, I used to go to the game club with my like 60-year-old friend from work to play X-Wing. Every week, you and Scott find a new game for me to buy into. Dystopia Wars wasn't banging, though. Dystopia Wars was banging. Yeah, exactly. But no, so like, I was like 19, 20, hanging out with like a 60-year-old to play X-Wing, you know? It was sick. It was so good. We used to have a great time, you know? It was very, very wholesome. Very wholesome, okay? It wasn't cringe, all right? Was he interesting dude? Yeah, he's a legend, right? He's like big into like bikes and like cycle racing. So he used to like, because he was like a proper engineer, worked in a workshop. I say was, he still works there. he does it for the love of the game. He told me once. He's like, I could retire, but I do it for the love of the game. But yeah, so I was working with him. We did some cool shit together at work, but then we used to like play X-Wing on a Friday night. It was sick. It was so good. And yeah, he just like, he loves like bike racing and stuff. He like builds cycles. He just goes cycling just for like, he's one of those like old people that just like, you're like, how the fuck do you still ride your bike, ride it to work every day, and then go on like cycles for like 20 kilometers a day? And he's just like, I just ride my bike, bro. And I'm like, yeah, fair. Anyway, absolute legend. Shout out to Paul. Appreciate it. Miss you, Paul. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, we had a great time. So I used to play X-Wing every week, and I got proper into it. I was like, we used to play just to start a set, and I started buying more, and then I just like got fucking loads and loads of ships. I had hundreds of ships. I don't have them anymore. Got rid of them. But I think, do I still have it? I think my cats have nicked it. I think I still have it here. Do I have it here? No, I don't. I have the Millennium Falcon from X-Wing somewhere, because that's the only one I kept. So I think you get mate aware that you can hobby and game with. Yeah, it's just obviously like the juxtaposition of a 20-year-old hanging around with a 6-year-old was always funny. But he's probably now 70. Still working. But X-Wing was fucking huge, let's be honest. X-Wing was absolutely massive. And I was playing it when it was exclusively like sequel era, you know, 4, 5, 6 era. And I stopped playing probably when it, like, a lot of like the prequel stuff started coming into it. It obviously had its problems. But there's a video from Tilly that I think we should have a look at. It's called the avoidable downfall of Star Wars tabletop games. And you know me, I love a react. I love an interesting essay, especially when it's about Warhammer or tabletop stuff. I thought we should have a look at this one. Let's have a look.
Uploading to YouTube, one of the very first things I talked about was Star Wars tabletop games, which at the time were flourishing. Star Wars and tabletop gaming have been closely entwined for decades, and when I uploaded the video, there were a number...
Look at that for a starter set, bro. Look at that for a starter set. I mean, that's the more modern starter set anyway. Because they changed all the symbols and they changed the dials and stuff like that. But that was the starter. That was it. Pre-painted models, you know. That was the big thing. I think that's why X-Wing was so successful. Pre-painted models. Now you could paint them yourself, obviously, but they all came pre-painted. You just literally open them up, they're ready to go. How expensive were they? They were obviously a bit more of a premium for what you got, but they weren't crazy. Yeah, like 20 to 30 quid per ship. Depending how big it was, you know. But like they're all like hand painted, so they all looked mint. It always, thing is with X-Wing, the big appeal with X-Wing, it always looked amazing on the table. Because you threw your mat out, you had all your little tokens represent your asteroids, you had pre-painted ships. I think the problem with Warhammer a lot of the time, especially like big games and when people are getting into it, is it doesn't look like a very appealing game when people use unpainted models and bad terrain, you know. Whereas X-Wing's appeal was buy it and play, you know. It was literally like a plug and play type game, and it worked really well. It worked so well, to be honest. It's just, and it's also a very unique system of dogfighting compared to just like just army battles. The fact that it was dogfight was a very unique system. I also remember them being as individual models in boxes. Could you get a game on a box? Buying individual models will put me off. So the starter set was this. The starter set was like 30 quid. It had 3 miniatures in it. This is a balanced game that you could play. I play this loads. But then obviously there's a army building point system that you build to add in your ships, you add in your upgrades, etc. So yeah, this is a game. This is a complete game in a box. It's just a mini game, you know. You didn't always have many. You only really had like 3 to 4 ships at a time, I would say.
Number of titles thriving under the supervision of Fantasy Flight Games. Between the several...
Armada is one that I never got into. Chad, did you play Armada? Did you ever play Armada? Also, who triggered the countdown? Who triggered the countdown? I don't know who did that. I did. It's also good. Yeah, I never played Armada, but it always seemed like, why are you making a space battle game to combat your space battle game? Yo, John Cav, thanks for the prime over on Twitch, dude. Appreciate you. That's who triggered the timer. Thanks so much for the 5 months. If you're watching, you can watch over on twitch.tv/Hellstormwargaming. Exclamation point restream or multi. Sorry, exclamation point multi in chat if you want to grab a link. I played Armada, it was decent. I never played Armada, but I was always a bit like, why are you making a space battle game? Are you trying to combat the other space battle game that you also make? Sorry, you can't play tabletop games right now. Oblivion Remastered just dropped. Yeah, it's fair. Did you see the Star Wars Legion controversy uproar? I did. I saw a little bit of that.
Miniatures games and the selection of classic board games, Fantasy Flight had returned tabletop Star Wars to its prime, with X-Wing even sitting on top of the miniatures genre.
Look at that. What a weird world we were in. What a weird world 2015 was. The top of the game, top 5 selling games. This is probably from like Gamma or something like that. So probably America especially. Top 5 games. Warhammer was one of the 5 and not the top one. Isn't that wild? Just to look at that there. Even Star Trek Attack Wing, which was a Star Wars X-Wing knockoff, was like top 5 seller. No fantasy, no Horus Heresy or anything like that because it wasn't really a thing. And no like side gains. This is only 10 years ago. GW before COVID. Well, GW had a boom before COVID, you know. This was because this was like peak 7th edition, which was just a shit game. You know, it was a bad game, bad rules. Models were few and far between. Updates were never. You know? Whereas X-Wing was huge. But it's just wild to think this was only 10 years ago. You know? 40k had been knocked off the top spot. It was still a top game, don't get me wrong. But X-Wing was obviously, like, smashing it. BP before Primaris. Yeah, this was before Primaris. It just makes you think, because I always think to myself, it's like Marvel Crisis Protocol and Star Wars Shatterpoint and Legion should be the biggest games because they are some of the biggest IPs in the world outside of Pokemon. Yet 40k is always winning. But it wasn't always like that, you know? It wasn't always 40k winning. X-Wing did beat them. But you'll notice that it was by Fantasy Flight Games, which don't have Star Wars licenses anymore. Or I think they still do the card game, I think, but not sure. I don't think Atomic Mass Games does Unlimited.
Genre sales chart for a while, taking the #1 spot from Warhammer. After releasing that video, I sporadically uploaded to YouTube for another year or so before taking a bit of a hiatus. By the time I returned from that break, every single game on
Pokemon Tabletop Game. I think Pokemon Tabletop Game go hard. Don't give Asmodee ideas with Pokemon before we get Pokemon Crisis Shatterpoint. That'd be so good. That'd be so good. That'd be so good.
I mentioned in that video, except for one, had been discontinued. What caused such a swift downfall? The answer involves a little bit of bad luck, but a lot of unusual decisions. The first game to fall, and the only one that shut down...
What a fucking game. What a game. I still have this, chat. Chat, I'm going to go get it. It's in my top drawer. I keep it next to my bed just in case I ever need it. What a game. Just in case anyone comes in and threatens my life whilst I'm in bed. Oh, shit. I'm not looking over the chat. And it rolled and let everything else out. Oh, my God. This is a nightmare. Right, ignore my rubbish on the floor, chat. Just in case anyone comes into my bedroom at night and goes, I'm going to kill you unless you can beat me in a game of Star Wars Destiny, I'm ready. I'm so ready. Who we got? Jin Erso. Reckless Operative. Followed by Admiral Akbar. Master Tactician. Perceptive Tactician even. And we are in Carbon Freezing Chamber. Bam. Choose a character die. That die cannot be rolled to the next round. Yeah, this is what made Hellstorm. Some of the first things we were streaming on Hellstorm was Star Wars Destiny. You know? Ah, oh, such a good game. Does the Akbar card have a trap on it? It's a trap on it. No. But there's a card called It's a Trap, I think, which I think I've got in this deck. I do not. I do not. But basically, this was a really unique game because it came with dice. Ah, shit, son. I forgot about the dice. So it came with dice. Okay. And you used to equip your characters with units. With, like, upgrades. And then roll the dice at the start of your turn. Ah. Oh, so tactile. What a card game. A card game with dice. I loved it. I love dice. But yeah, I have them all here. What do I have here? Do I have some spare cards? Oh, I've got a sideboard, chat. Chat, I've still got a sideboard. What we got? We've got Electroshock. Shall I do deck reveal? We've got Loth Cat and Mouse. Friends in Low Places. And we've got the A180 Blaster. Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. What we got in the bottom? I tried to make a mess, but I forgot that I had this. Well, I forgot what was in it. Oh, I got an action. Just in case I forget how to play. Got my little action card. Bam. Play a card from your hand. Activate character support. Resolve your dice. Discard a card to reroll your dice. Use card action. Claim the battlefield. And I even 3D printed my own little tokens. This is one of my first 3D printing jobs at work. Hell yeah, dude. 3D printing tokens. Right, deck reveal, chat. Rate my deck. Jin, Urso. Reckless, Operative. Admiral Akbar, the Carbon Freezing Chamber. We've got another Friends in Low Places. Okay, I could never be a Pokemon streamer. We've got Diversion. Comlink. Oh, yeah, let's go Lando. Logistics, what's that one do? Event. Spot a red character, resolve one of your dice showing resources. Increase its value by 1. Hell yeah. Akbar, the resource management system. Chewie, let the Wookiee win. Ascension gun. Electroshock. Let the Wookiee win again. Logistics. A DH-17 blaster pistol with +1 resource on that set 2-shot. So what you used to do, you used to roll the dice, and then whatever you got, you resolved it, and then it'd be like do damage, or it would get you resources so you could use these cards. This is essentially your mana cost. Got BB-8, let's go. We got Lone Operative. Heal 2 damage to attack character, or 3 damage instead of attached character, your only character in play. New Orders. Dug in. Hit and run. Nearly done. Diversion again. Another Lost Cat and Mouse. Sabotage. Fast Hands, what's that do? After a character, you may resolve one of its character upgrade dice. Hell yeah. Con Artist. The Blaster. C3PO! Remove these dice, resolve one of your dice. If it was showing a different symbol, it keeps its original value. Pretty beast. Another Lone Operative. And finally, another Ascension Gun. Chat, what a deck. What a deck. Resource spam. So you can just use any of the cards and reuse them. I don't remember how to play them. I don't remember how to play. What a fucking game Destiny was. Again, so you used to be able to buy packs with packs of 5, and they come with the dice. And basically, as I said, you used to attach your characters. So you'd activate Jin. She comes with 2 for some reason. Can't remember why. And then you'd be like, oh, I'll attach the C3PO. So I'll throw in that dice as well. And then you'd activate a roller and you'd see what you get. And then you can resolve those. But the dice are huge. They're like 20 mil, I think. I think they're like 20 mil. So they're quite big, chunky dice. And that's why I liked it. Because I hate card games, but I love dice. But yeah, chat. In case anyone... I got the official Destiny box. Okay? Official Destiny box. My Dooku Grievous deck, yeah. So can I see Hellstorm, Wargaming, Destiny? What is my destiny? I don't think I'll be able to find anything. It was all on Twitch, I think. There's a lot of stuff on Facebook, I remember that much. Because you're streaming on Twitch, but I used to advertise on Facebook, so every year I get your memories. Nah. Nah, bro. Can't find it. Can't find it. Anyway, I started the channel by playing Star Wars Destiny on stream. Because it was an easy way to stream stuff. Facebook because you're a man. Yeah, exactly. Bear in mind, I started the channel 8 years ago, so it was peak Destiny time. Anyway, sorry, great game, great game.
Before the upload of my first video was Destiny. In many ways, the most unique game of the Fantasy Flight catalog, Destiny was a card game that it heavily utilized custom dice. Certain types of cards had corresponding, completely unique dice, whose sides represented different actions available to the player. Rolling these dice and manipulating these rolls presented a really interesting gameplay pattern that I haven't seen represented in any other game. but they also presented manufacturing complications that plagued Destiny for its entire lifespan. Enthusiasm for Destiny's launch was hamstrung by product unavailability, and though the core gameplay was extremely fun, it failed to channel the other important aspect of any successful TCG, which...
The problem with Destiny was that they couldn't keep up with demand. You know? I remember that, like, it was very expensive, that's for sure, because of the dice. You only got 5 cards in a pack and a dice. And then they guaranteed so many pulls, but because of the dice, the packs were quite big. So this box, which seems quite big, which normally for like Magic and Pokemon or something, they probably have like 40 packs. It only had like 20 in it. But then they just couldn't keep up with demand. Wherever it was played, like you just like it was just always out of stock. It was so popular, but they just couldn't keep up with it. And I think, whilst that's a good problem to have, ironically, to be like, well, we're selling it so fast we can't keep it in stock. It also just hurts the health of the game because people just can't get the stuff. And it just comes down to whales buying boxes, you know? I ordered 4 boxes at the start, got every single card as many times as I need, so I'm the best, you know?
Failed to channel the other important aspect of any successful TCG, which is, of course, collectability. Each booster box had the same number of legendary cards at 6 and lacked any other form of chase card, like alternate art or foil treatments. On top of that, the inclusion of a die in every pack meant that each pack only had 5 actual cards. And this made opening packs much less interesting than other TCGs, and the insane amount of dice you ended up accumulating made the game a little bit of a chore to store and transport efficiently, which was a minor problem for most players and a major problem for Fantasy Flight themselves.
Fucking, I remember that. Fucking Kylo and the interrogation. Holy shit, that was always so broken. Kylo and the interrogation was always so broken. I don't think the transporting was a problem, personally. But, like, yeah, it was like just getting product out was the real problem.
And a major problem for Fantasy Flight themselves. Although a loyal community kept the game afloat for 10 sets, and the game continued to be quite fun, 2020 eventually dealt a mortal blow to Destiny, which drew its final breath and expired, in part thanks to pandemic-related production issues reminiscent of the game's unfortunate launch. With Destiny gone,
yeah, like, the problem is because you've got all these unique cards, it's just not easy to keep afloat because unique dice, sorry. It's not easy to keep afloat because it's just way more expensive to make. So which means the cost of pack is way more expensive and then people buy less. Whereas, like, Magic cards, you print 9 or whatever in a pack and call it a day. It's just card. Yeah, it's a shame it died, but I got out of it way before that. I think this is, like, wave 2, my deck. I think I would say, if I had to guess, it'd be wave 2. And there was 10 sets. So I was out of it long before it died. It's obviously just a shame. But yeah, I just couldn't keep up at the time because I just was like, this is way too expensive. I just don't remember how much. I think a booster box was like over 100 quid for 30 packs or something. I was like, nah, bro, I'm all right.
The majority of Fantasy Flight's remaining games were in the miniatures genre. Of the Star Wars miniatures games, X-Wing was the most noteworthy.
This is a game.
Even temporarily dethroned Warhammer for the title of highest-selling miniatures game, with an original launch date in...
This is a game, bro. Oh, God. Oh, the Y-Wing? Hell yeah, dude. Oh, on highest. If this is expensive back then, imagine how expensive it'd be now. Oh yeah, I mean, only 10 years ago, but still, it's still a huge difference.
In 2012, X-Wing had been one of Fantasy Flight's flagship games for some time. After an impossibly successful initial run, the game received a 2.0 rehaul in 2018, which was a bit of a double-edged sword, as many comprehensive rehauls are. 2.0 did remove some bloat and improved various unhealthy parts of the game, but it also made many 1.0 products obsolete. Players now needed to purchase...
People don't like Legends. Legends in thing, like, it happens in 40k all the time. People don't like it. We've just seen loads of drama in Star Wars Legion because they Legends or binned off, like, Palpatine in the Royal Guard. People hate buying stuff and it becoming obsolete. And I think that is understandable. It is bollocks, to be honest. It's so bollocks when it happens. It's like you buy something, and it is an investment, especially when you got to paint them. Like, it's less so with X-Wing because you don't have to paint them. But you buy something, you put hours into painting it, you finally start playing it, and then they go, yeah, it's gone now. Yeah, it's gone. That's fine. And it's just like, it's just super disappointing because it's just like, yeah, it's all that time and effort and money. It's just gone. Hello. That's the whole reason I avoid kill team. 3-year max life cycle on teams isn't appealing. No, exactly. Exactly that. If a model isn't new, I don't want to buy in case it's just not supported in a few months. Yeah, like look at like any army from 40k right now. If someone said to me, like, I'm going to start a drukhari army, I'd be like, don't. You know? Don't. The codex isn't out yet. Half the army could disappear. It's fine for card games, but for tabletop games it sucks. Yeah, I think for X-Wing it's less annoying. They're expensive, but you haven't had to like pay for them, paint the model or anything. When it's a model you've had to paint, convert, etc., it's super disappointing. Super disappointing. At least you can start Grey Knight's army. Yeah, like 2 months ago, if you said, I'm going to start Grey Knight's army, I would say no. Now you can. Now you can, because you know it's going to be alright for at least 3 years. Ish. So we're alright this edition. So yeah, but like Legends and things, just a fucking pain in the ass. Absolute pain in the ass. People hate it.
Conversion kits to use their existing collections with the new rules, and many 1.0 products didn't receive 2.0 equivalents for some time, reducing the pool of available ships for new players to play with off of the shelf. Changes of this magnitude are often accompanied by some grumbling, but it was unquestionable that X-Wing needed some form of updating if it wanted to go the distance and last as an evergreen miniatures game, and for the most part, 2.0 accomplished these goals and revitalized people's enthusiasm for the game. X-Wing maintained its position as a flagship game for Fantasy Flight until 2020, where suddenly Star Wars
2020 was the death of Star Wars tabletop, wasn't it? Don't get me wrong, I love Shatterpoint still, and I love, I think Legion's great. It's obviously not over, but like 2020, COVID did a number of things, but especially Star Wars games, it seems. Seems like Star Wars games were like a high cost of the pandemic. I never played 2.0 for X-Wing. I only ever heard the grumblings, which is usually the case. I got out of it in 1. Hello. Ow. Can you put your claws away, please? You don't need to use your claws to stand on me. Remember Beastmen in AOS? Yeah, the fact that like Beastmen in AOS got a model, and then like a year later they got Legends. Imperial Legends looks so cool, but I knew it wasn't. It's not going to be knew it's not going to be supported in that form next edition. That I'm not sure of, just because I don't think they're going to bid it off because they've had Imperial Legends out for a while, you know. But I understand your concern. Legends now was straight up leaving the game. Well, no, they have Legends rules, right? And they'll be usable for at least this edition. Legends probably is a real community issue more than anything. It's one thing that they bin them off entirely, but Legends are still usable rules. No, I totally agree. Yeah, that I think there's a bit of a mindset problem with people being like, well, it's Legends, so I can't use it. But they can still use them until the end of next year. Yeah, but you can still download the rules Crypt Shadow and use them. They're competitively viable until next year. You know? Or whenever it is. Might even be this year, I can't remember. But they're functional until the end of the edition at least. If the edition doesn't change too much, then they're still functional. But yeah, people say Legends means I can't use it, whereas Legends means you can't use it in tournaments. Well, these tournaments that they use Legends so people don't use it. Yeah, and that's a problem with I think that's a mindset problem personally. You know, you can still play with anything that's got a rule. It's just in tournaments you can't use old stuff, which I think is understandable if they're not going to keep supporting it. But then in standard practice games or standard casual games, people don't use it either, which I think is like weird. Wait, where is this agents going stuff coming from? It's one person's thought in chat. But how soon after being Legends does that thing get to go to no rules at all? I don't know, bro. I have no idea, to be honest. It could be a year. It could be an edition. It could be 3 editions. You know? I wouldn't recommend investing in Legends, no. But if you have it, it doesn't mean it's dead completely. You know? It's dead when the rules disappear and all the army can't function anymore, you know? I wouldn't say, oh yeah, go buy a Legends army. No, that'd be terrible. That'd be a terrible idea. But there's like, I feel like the cutoff, the Legends rules is just not used at all in any sort of game, which is a bit strange. Casual games that have the mindset that not liking Legends is confusing. Yeah. If Legends was explained better, i.e. as a way of cutting down the number of possible units available, meaning less in rules interactions might help tournaments for any game. Yeah, I don't hate the idea of Legends because the point of Legends is when they get rid of, essentially what they're doing is they're cutting down the number of SKU units, right? We've seen it in every system where they're losing options that cross over to other things. Demons are now an index, they're not going to get a codex. Lord of Poxers is a Chaos Lord, essentially. Thanks. Thank you. So they're changing, or they're reducing their SKU numbers for different for the different products that they've got. Inky, you're going crazy, bro. Inky, you're going crazy. I'm trying to make a really important point. Can you concentrate on the fidget spinner, not me? Thank you. Where was that? Yeah, they're trying to reduce the number of units each mod army has, definitely. And they're reducing their SKUs for each army so they can focus on, right, okay, well, we sold 50,000 Chaos Lords last week. Did we sell them to a Chaos player, a Death Guard player, a Children player, or did someone just randomly buy one? Because they don't actually know. So I feel like they're reducing the number of crossover units, such as demons in Age of Sigmar, 40k, and Horus. Stop spamming my keyboard, bro. Stop spamming my keyboard. So they're trying to reduce the crossover to different games so they can see what's selling best. And now they're doing it army-wise as well. The only one they're not doing is Space Marines. You know, Space Marines will just be a crossover. Space Marines are just one faction, but they just sell them weirdly. I think it feels like. So Legends is like controlling like the balance of the game is not crazy, but the problem is when they're doing you're doing large investments in models and they're bringing out new stuff that's similar, but not the same. So your unit gets Legends, even though there's basically the new unit that isn't Legends, i.e. land speeders. It's fucking annoying. For some reason, my Twitch chat isn't coming up on the multi chat, so I do apologize if I'm not reading your message directly. Don't worry, I'm checking Twitch though. Anyway, where were we? Can I scroll back a bit because I forgot where I am? You've muted my sound. How have you muted my sound?
position as a
Inky, what did you do?
Fantasy Flight until
Chat, can you hear stuff but not me? Inky, bro.
20, where suddenly
Why is my headphones not working now?
Star Wars miniatures.
What did you do, bro?
Abrupt.
You broke my headphones. Damn it. What did you do? Pressing fucking keys again. You guys are cute, menace. He's the best. He's a fucking pain in the ass. He definitely bumped something. Your camera feed lost its shit a second ago. Yeah, he's pressed. I don't know what he's pressed. You're very cute, you know that. It's the Inky show, is it? Come here. Come here. How's that? How's that? Chat, look at the menace. This is what destroyed the stream. Look at him. You being a menace? You climbing on the mics? Right, okay. Chat, I'm going to have to play with the headphones off. I don't know why it's not working, so I do apologise. But, yeah, Inky broke something.
Took a turn for the worse. In late 2020, shortly after Destiny
Bro, I'm trying to watch that.
went under, Fantasy Flight announced that they'd be completely relinquishing control of their miniatures line of Star Wars games to another studio owned by their parent company, Asmodee. This studio, Atomic Mass Games, most popular for producing Marvel Crisis Protocol, would now be responsible for the upkeep and future development of X-Wing, Armada, and Legion.
It definitely felt like they wanted to segregate the company to be like, this is the miniatures company, this is the card game company. You know, FFG is the card game company, AMG is the miniatures company, you know, because it is still owned by the parent company. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, I hate AMG. It is the same company. It's the same parent company. It doesn't make a difference. It's just that they've gone, these guys do the card games, you guys do the miniatures. How many subs for you to snort a line of plastic? At least as many as beating my high score on the game. I wonder what it was. What if it was like GW where they couldn't keep track of what made the money? No, I think so. Yeah, but they just wanted to like split them off. So it's like, here's the card games, here's the miniatures games,
including rules adjustments and the production of new products, as well as the production of any content already released by Fantasy Flight, and the handful expansions planned by Fantasy Flight shortly before Atomic's acquisition of these games. In retrospect, it's now obvious this reformatting served two main purposes: allowing Asmodee to shuffle money around a bit in an attempt to make their studios a bit more profitable, as well as allowing Fantasy Flight themselves to get all hands on deck for the production of Star Wars Unlimited, which they described as the most successful game.
This is like exploded, this one. This one's gone crazy, I think. Star Wars Unlimited is everywhere, and it's just way easier for a Fantasy Flight to keep up with because you don't have to make fucking dice to go with it, which was the best part. That was the best part of that card game. The dice were the best part, let's be honest. It was very cool, but they just couldn't keep up with production. And Unlimited's great. It is a great game. I don't own it. I have played it though. Never heard of it. It's probably the biggest card game outside of Magic. You know? Are you going to stop being a menace? Eh? Tell them what you think. What do you think to Star Wars Unlimited? So it's a very fun game. It's a kind of a mixture of like having like a point of like a battlefield, and then you have like ground units and air units, which is fun. But it's huge. It's absolutely huge. Say cat right now is completely dead. Pokemon trading card game is the biggest card game. I don't think it is. I don't think as many people play Pokemon. Collecting, yeah. It's not bigger than Magic, no. Pokemon, obviously, huge collecting. But I don't think that many people play Pokemon. Whereas lots of people play Star Wars Unlimited. You know, it's not a collecting game. It's not Pokemon may as well be a collectible card game, you know? No fucker plays Unlimited. Okay. From your personal experience, no one plays Limited. Okay, you are correct. At your store, no one plays Unlimited. Should have seen it at UK Games Expo. There's like 300 people playing, I think. Oh, what event did I go to where there's loads of people playing? I think it just properly come out at Expo. It's huge, though. Is Yu-Gi-Oh popular? I keep seeing decks for sale at reasonable prices and attempt to get into it. Yu-Gi-Oh is very popular. I'm not sure how... I mean, it's obviously one of the biggest. If you had to say, like, top 5. If you had to say, like, top 5, Yu-Gi-Oh is obviously there. I don't know where it ranks in top 5, though.
They'd ever made by a pretty wide margin before it had even been out a year. So obviously this move paid off for Fantasy Flight, but at the time it was a huge, shocking change from a company that up until that point had primarily gotten the most of their Star Wars license from miniatures games that they were now handing off. This move's
saying Magic the Gathering is bigger than Pokemon is pure Magic the Gathering cope. Let's find out. Okay. Proven wrong. Where's this? I don't know where this is from, though. It's r/Yu-Gi-Oh. Game Nerds. 20 best-selling trading card games for 2024. 10 Flesh and Blood, 9 Uni Arena, 8 Dragon Ball Super, Digimon, Disney, One Piece, Star Wars Unlimited, Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic, and Pokemon. Okay, I've been proven wrong. But I think less people play Pokemon, which I don't think is wrong. You know? It's exclusive from GameNerds.com. It focuses on total revenue gained rather than individual items sold. Nerd Days and Dealer Day sales are exclusive for purposes of this list. Oh, this is from them, personally. This is from this one store. Okay, never mind. Maybe it's not true. I did say play as well, just to confirm. Pokemon didn't even show up in this one, bro. I was thinking by it, less people play Pokemon. Magic is the most played game. And Yu-Gi-Oh is right up there, but so is Unlimited.
Seems to have been well-intentioned, and on paper, it would allow for the games to continue under the stewardship of a dedicated miniature game studio, theoretically more capable than Fantasy Flight of maintaining these games for years to come. Star Wars Armada had already been struggling under Fantasy Flight's guidance and was perhaps the best example of a game with a lot to gain from its new home. Armada, which was a fundamentally similar game to X-Wing that focused on capital ships and larger-scale fleet combat, had been on the back burner at Fantasy Flight for some time, and new product
It always felt like Armada was like the ugly stepkid, you know what I mean? It always felt like Armada was like the ugly stepchild. Rather, like X-Wing was their flagship. Armada was kind of like just there. Chat full of Magic the Gathering copers today. Deck, you are the only person. I know 3 people actually who play Pokemon. I know like hundreds of people who play Magic the Gathering. You know? It probably sells more. There's definitely more. It's more lucrative. But I think Magic is more popular as in a game. As a game. I love Pokemon as well. I have a Pokemon tattoo. Oh, I don't have a Magic the Gathering tattoo. I'm not like a paid op. But yeah, Star Wars Armada, I always saw it, but I always saw it as like the weird one because I don't look at Star Wars and think, yeah, I want a Star Destroyer and that's about it. You know? I want a Star Destroyer and that's about it. But it was popular. It was obviously one in the top 5. Says he loves Pokemon, hasn't played all the games, so I played most of the games. Come on, I've not played Sun and Moon or Sun and Moon 2, alright? I think that's it. What other Pokemon games have I not played? I've even played Pokemon Pinball. I've got Pokemon trading card game on the Game Boy Color. I bought it in Japan. I can't read Japanese and I still bought it. I got Pokemon the trading card game for the Game Boy. It's here. It's there. I got a Pokemon the Game Boy Color game. What a game. Can't read it. You said before you stopped after Diamond and Pearl. No, I said I played those consistently, but they're the ones, that's where my brain stops. I played Black 2 last year. Or White, even. Same game. I played all the ones on the Switch. If you're a real Pokemon fan, name all the Pokemon in order. Arceus, Mew, Bulbasaur. You're welcome. You played X and Y? Yeah. Yeah. I have X. I have it on the 3DS. I have it in my bedroom. I have Soul Silver, X, Omega Ruby, all in a drawer. Michael's Pokemon, you play Power World. I have put a lot of hours into Power World, that's true. What's your favourite Eevee evolution? I'll get back to you in a minute. My favourite Eevee evolution is the most fuckable one. Anyway.
It slowed to a crawl well before Atomic Mass acquired the game. Product availability was perpetually scarce for several expansions.
Anyway, Armada. I don't think of Star Wars and think, you know what I want? The Imperial Light Cruiser expansion pack. I want X-Wings, Y-Wings, or Luke Skywalker. You know? I don't think I want the Imperial Light Cruiser. I'm like, oh, okay, I saw that once on the opening crawl. That was it.
And the release schedule was noticeably slower.
Now this is what I got. This is what I want. Clones and shit. Droids and shit. I have this. I should paint it. I should really paint it. I really want to paint it. It's just finding time, bro. Making challenge in isolation.
An X-Wing and Legion, which were both receiving significantly more support. It even looked like Armada was done for good for...
I never look at Star Wars gaming yet. I want the Galactic Republic Fleet starter set. I don't care. I don't care about it. I want the starships. I don't want the cruisers and stuff. I don't want the fleets. I want the X-Wings. Just looking at X-Wing listings on eBay to consider buying cool models. Yeah.
Period of time. But in the year before
it's a dead game.
handed Armada off, they suddenly gained a second wind, announcing 2 starter packs for entirely new factions as they prepared to take the game into the prequel era. This was an incredible sign for the game that it...
This was always the problem. The problem I had with X-Wing was that they brought in these cruisers like the Tantive, and then they put specific cards in there that were really good. I.e., in the Tantive, I think, is it Tantive 4 or something? They had C3PO as an upgrade, who was, I don't remember what it does now, but it was absolutely cracked. And it was like, if you want to play X-Wing good, you need the Tantive C3PO. And that was over 100 quid for a ship that's only used in narrative games. That was what annoyed me about this game. Is that the problem with any Fantasy Flight game or any game like this is to play, you have to buy every set to get cards, you know? And that's what X-Wing did really well, but I hated it. But you had to buy, because obviously, like, you've got your ship, you've got your upgrades. To get those upgrades, you get some in the box, but there's always a better combo by using a different card from a different set. And they did the same with Warhammer Underworlds, because obviously that's a deck building game with models, which I think was kind of inspired by X-Wing in terms of like the sales model, is that you had to buy every team in Underworlds to get the cards to build the best deck. Marvel Crisis Protocol is the same. Yeah, exactly. Like Shatterpoint is the only one that isn't. But having to buy every pack to play the same ships but better was so dumb. So dumb. Which I think was a real good thing for sales, but terrible as a consumer. To a point where I just used to like print them out. You know? I just print them out. Especially because like you're not drawing from the deck. The cards are just in front of you. They're just a rules reference. But in tournaments you couldn't do that. Obviously. But I just used to print them out. I just got fed up with it. It's just like, why do I have to pay to buy rules? Why am I paying £100 to buy 3 lines of text on a tiny card? Like, shut the fuck up. You know? There's a game called Tanks. I used to play Tanks. I've told the story before because there was a knockoff called Tanks, which is basically World War II, but with D6s. You're all 4s to hit. And we all painted our ships in different Space Marine chapters and took them to tournaments. But look how big that ship is. Yeah, it doesn't do anything. It was essentially a objective. You know? It's essentially an objective. So you pay £100 for an objective with a 1 card. Imperial Assault needing both expansions for 1 copy of a meta card. Yeah, we were schmucks. You know what I mean? We were mugs. Hearth expansion. Yeah, fucking hell. I mean, the Hearth expansion was expensive, but at least it came with stuff, you know? Came with models, came with cards, came with boards, etc. But yeah, it was like every time there's like an update in Imperial Assault, it's the same problem. You needed everything for all the cards, and then you needed the new map. So you needed to buy an upgrade pack or like an expansion pack so you could build a new map. And then they started releasing battle maps, which are well expensive, that didn't have the cards in them, so you had to buy them separately. Ugh, what a nightmare. What a great time, but a nightmare.
One Point made an impressive appearance on the miniatures game's top sellers list, but had spent the last several years falling deeper and deeper into X-Wing's shadow. While it's certainly fair to say that Armada was slightly limited by the prior existence of another space
it was the same
miniatures
multiplayer in the
game
yeah.
with similar mechanics, a decent amount of the slowdown the game had experienced was quite simply just because Fantasy Flight was running out of capital ships to put into the game, and expanding to an entirely new era opened up a lot of new possibilities. In the year leading up,
but yeah, I'm just not excited. Like, people love Fleet Battle like this. I just don't care. You know,
mass acquisition.
Just don't care about it.
Fantasy Flight announced 4 separate new expansions for Armada, including fan favorite ships like the Venator Star Destroyer, and for the first time in a while, you could be forgiven for thinking things were finally looking up. But that was not the
And
case.
the thing is with that is that they're different eras, so you can't... It's just weird to play, like, different era ships against different eras, you know? That's what I always found weird. I think that's always a problem with Star Wars, is that you have, like, different times playing against each other. Like, if they made X-Wing, Well, it wouldn't be able to be called X-Wing. But if X-Wing, that style of game, was like prequel era, and then Armada was like sequel era, it'd make a lot more sense in my head. But I think that's always been a problem. They're seeing the same kind of problem in Shatterpoint as well, I think, because obviously it came out and it's very Clone Wars era, and then they've gone, yeah, here's Darth Vader, you know, here's Ewoks, and yeah, you can play them against each other, but it's like, even if you're playing a competitive game, there's like an element of narrative that you're still following, you know. Yeah, Star Wars had like Republic and stuff.
And favorite ships like the Venator Star Destroyer, and for the first time in a while, you can be forgiven for thinking things were finally
Super chat
looking up. But that
£4
was
and
not the
82
case.
pence. Armada D's nuts.
Thanks for the $10, RTCS. Appreciate you, bud. Appreciate you. Yeah, there's no light and dark side. There's no light and dark side in Shatterpoint as like a limitation as well. You can just put anything together, which is so weird. Hey, Big Bacon Sani, how you doing, bud? How you doing? Well, I'm gonna do pop out chat here because I can't fucking see what Twitch is saying. We'll do that. There we go. I'll be straight up be a sucker for Battlefleet Gothic because it's cool. Like Legions, Imperialis, they got me through really cool. Like FFG with Imperial Assault. Yeah, I've never been a huge fan. I like obviously me and you we used to play. We tried to play Halo, Fleet, Star, Halo Space battles. I just never got into it. I liked the dogfighting. I didn't like the battleship aspect, you know? Space boats. Just got home from work to Armada being the first word you said. I appreciate you, bud. Halo Fleet Command, that was it. I just don't think I've ever been bothered about huge space battles. I like dogfighting. Dogfighting as a concept is fun. Yeah, space battles has never been my thing, I don't think.
While you could be forgiven for thinking things were finally looking up, but that was not the case. When the atomic mass transfer went through, they promised each game's respective community that they would continue Fantasy Flight's work, but Armada never received a single new product under AMG's guidance, despite their repeated reassurances that they were committed to the future of the game. Instead, AMG rode the momentum from Fantasy Flight's revival of Armada, selling off existing inventory and promising organized play support and their commitment to a healthy future for the game, right up until stock began to run low and they finally admitted the game was completely dead. To be fair, as the least successful of the
Wow, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. They just killed the game and didn't even release these. These never came out? Excuse me. These never came out at all. What the fuck? There's an update to the app. Oh shit, okay. I'll have a look at that in a minute. I'll watch this and I'll have a look.
The 3 games Atomic Mass had acquired, Armada going under was
Sure I've seen them for sale before. It says it never released.
not the most surprising outcome. It's rumored that multiple other waves of Clone Wars expansions had gotten approval at Fantasy Flight, so it's clear that a sudden shutdown wasn't what they had in mind for the game, but keeping Armada afloat was always going to be an uphill battle, thanks both to its similarities with X-Wing as well as the nature of the physical product itself. Armada ships came pre-painted and pre-assembled, with a variety of components and some really nice detail that made the product much more expensive to manufacture than other miniatures games. This was a weakness shared by X-Wing, and running both games was sure to be a strain on Atomic Mass, so it only made sense to focus their efforts on the more successful of the 2 games going forward.
That's the thing, the game was really expensive to buy, the models were really cool, but the margins must have been so slim. It must have been so slim, just because of, like, they're all hand-painted, you know? Just think about the production cost of that. Think how much Warhammer is, and you gotta build it yourself. You know what I mean?
On the more successful of the two games going forward. Except that's not what happened either. X-Wing was killed alongside Armada in a single announcement that chopped down both space combat games in one fell swoop. The culmination of a shocking fall from grace.
After a long careful consideration, we're here today to announce the end of development for Star Wars X-Wing and Armada. They killed them in one swoop. It was only last year as well, it was last June. We are grateful for the community's passionate engagement and support over the past few years. Rising production costs, global manufacturing, and pandemic-related challenges made it increasingly difficult to produce high-quality pre-painted miniatures, which ultimately led to a decision to end development. Yeah, because I wonder if they were like, we need to up the price of these to actually make it profitable and pay for this. And they were just like, nah, it can't get much more expensive. Although development is ending, we are not staying away from these games entirely. Atomic Mass will continue to support tournaments and organize play for both games with op kits to be found in your local shops, culminating in the Open World Championship at Adepticon in March 2025, which they did have, right? Thank you for continued support and dedication. Yeah, if they didn't pre-paint them, it probably would have been able to continue, you know, if they did them on sprues. If you look at every other game that they're doing, all on sprues. Isn't this enduring part to embrace or imploding? I don't know what that is. So I think they still run the events for it, but they just don't make it, which is obviously eventually they'll give up.
For the game that had once
You can't support a game that you can't buy unless you're buying it secondhand.
stood on the top of the genre. But where Armada's story is mostly one of inaction, the path X-Wing took to the grave was a slightly bumpier one, partially because X-Wing was noticeably healthier than Armada going into the atomic mass transfer. While X-Wing wasn't at its peak, 2.0 had successfully put a bit of wind back into the game's sails, and as a result, the game's sales were pretty stable. Like many games reliant on in-person play, 2020 was a major setback, but as the pandemic wound down, it looked like X-Wing was once again set to make a full recovery. But as players funneled back into their local game store ready for a fresh opportunity to play one of their favorite long-running, familiar games, AMG made an unusual, unforced error. AMG's launch of X-Wing 2.5 ushered in an entirely new era for X-Wing, a sweeping rules overhaul that made dramatic changes to squad building rules and emphasized objective play, pulling the game away from its simpler dogfighting route that made
So, compatibility with current 2.5 game, expansion packs, plastic components, cardboard components, rule book, squad building rules, future releases. It seems like it was on a winner, you know what I mean? It just seems like kind of like, whilst I love Shatterpoint and I like Atomic Mass games and I love what they do, it just seems like they kind of like fumbled the bag a little bit, you know? It just kind of feels like they fumbled the bag.
Dramatic changes to squad building rules and emphasized objective play, pulling the game away from its...
There's now no way to play X-Wing 2.5. Instead of simply dogfighting, players will play one of 4 scenarios with the goal of gaining mission points. You get these mission points by either killing ships or interacting with the scenario objectives. One of the scenarios is like dogfight, but has one objective in the middle. That's so cool. That sounds really good, because I think X-Wing was a bit samey after a while. Ambitious are on the app now. Oh, that's cool. Major goals scenarios give more strategic options for victory than chasing down your opponent. They're designed to encourage engagement instead of running away. If your opponent tries to run away to down the clock, you can grab the objectives and often win while they flee. Victory comes from both killing ships and taking objectives, and both have minimal impact on your score. That sounds bad. How did this game die?
Simpler dogfighting routes and requiring players to completely change their playstyle, just as the game was getting back on its feet. Although this wasn't an entirely new edition of the game, it's quite hard to overstate the impact 2.5 had on gameplay, and these risky changes couldn't have come at a worse time. Squad building was turned on its head, especially when it came to the usefulness of generic pilots, and this new mission-based gameplay style differed enough from X-Wing's deathmatch origins to further split an already fractured and reeling community. X-Wing's sales never recovered. Had these rule changes come at a...
So they made it too different. I think that's what they're trying to say. Second edition added all these extra missions that made it too different from the core game of kill opponent, I guess. 40k has done that quite a lot, but I feel like the missions have been very successful. Because obviously the mission change we've had in like Warhammer has been like it's crazy different to what it used to be. Well, grab an objective at the end of the game, great. Now it's like drawing cards, priming sections, but it's also very overwhelming for a lot of people. Because I think people get like in the weeds a little bit of like thinking of what they should be doing while versus what they just can do. But yeah, X-Wing was always just shooting each other. There's never really anything else in it. Core feel is still the same. Big army game set in 40k. Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Better time, or alongside a massive wave of exciting new content, X-Wing might have had a chance to weather yet another storm. But under AMG's stewardship, one of the most influential Star Wars tabletop games of all time went out with a whimper. Not with a bang. But there were 3 games given to AMG, so what about Legion? Thankfully, this is where the story takes on a slightly more positive spin, since Legion is still alive and well.
Except for the announcement last week about Palpatine, Legion seems to be absolutely smashing it, to be honest. You have to remember these games are played by people fucked off with 4K. Usually that's because they hate objectives and play... hate objective play and secondaries. Yeah, true. True.
In fact, the game's future looks quite bright.
That board looks amazing, yeah.
It did take some time to get to this point. In the beginning of Atomic Mass's stewardship, the popular sentiment in the Legion community echoed the opinions held by X-Wing and Armada players who correctly discerned that AMG hadn't particularly wanted control of this many new games and didn't quite know what to do with this new responsibility that had been passed on to them by their parent company. Legion suffered many of the same...
It's just weird because I'd love to cover... I'm going to be covering a little bit more Star Wars this year, but I'd love to cover it way more, but people just seem way less interested, you know? It's just... People are just way less interested in Star Wars over, like, Warhammer. Which, again, you'd think it'd be the other way around. But after the cock-ups, you can understand why. These look amazing. Are these new? I think these are new because they've got a new logo on.
Hardships as its space-based counterparts at first.
In fact, there's 160 points in the app. Isn't that correct? Have you been using your codex points, not your PDF points?
Subpar rules updates, production errors, and a general slowdown in development. But in time, it became clear that in Legion's case, these were mostly growing
Lego Star Wars is where the
and
viewers and sales are at.
increasingly obvious that AMG was much more comfortable with Legion than they were with the other 2 games. In the past few years, product releases have sped back up, rules updates have had a bit more polish, and Atomic Mass has even committed to resculpting all of the old existing units that had soft plastic models in hard.
That's quite a lot that they've said they're going to do. Ahsoka Tano, Commander Ahsoka, BT Super Battle Droids getting redone. This is all this year. This is like soon, right? Darth Vader and Veers in Q3. Oh, this is now. This is next. Clone Wars starter sets. Sag, because I've got a Clone Wars starter set. Customizable Jedi General and Knight. General Grievous on wheel bike, and then 2026 I'm going to do Heroes of the 501st, 6 personal wheel bike, Han and Luke on Tauntauns, Weequay Pirate, Speeder Tank, Imperial Probe Droid.
Plastic. This move is pretty good for the game if you take it at face value, but what's most noteworthy about this massive wave of resculpted units is just how many resources it will take on AMG's part to get it done. As part of an extremely extensive content roadmap, this is a resounding vote of confidence in Legion, and a strong signal to everyone paying attention that they're keeping this game around for the long haul. This commitment to the game is admirable.
It feels like they wanted to make Shatterpoint to be their next Marvel Crisis Protocol, but then it feels like Legion was just way too popular, and X-Wing and Armada were too much of a problem to make, you know? Did you watch the Word Adepticon Legion presentation? But warm me to shame. I should look at that. I've seen the pictures, I just haven't watched it. But yeah, it feels like Armada and X-Wing were too hard to keep up with because of the pre-painted and the pre-built. Legion was not their baby, Shatterpoint is, but this just seemed to like outlive itself, you know?
And
That's what it feels
happy
like.
to see it. But the truth is that even if Legion hadn't been this healthy, it was always going to be the Fantasy Flight game that AMG chose to stick with, if for no other reason than the ever-present manufacturing issue. Legion, like most miniatures games that reach long-term success, sells its product as unassembled and unpainted miniatures. These gray plastic sculpts are then glued together and painted by the player, not in production, dramatically lowering the cost to keep the game running. That's not to say X-Wing and Armada couldn't have succeeded long-term under Atomic Mass, but it is not a coincidence that Legion survived the same storm of bad management that shipwrecked Armada and X-Wing. Games with that style of miniature just have too thin of a profit margin to survive multiple missteps. Of course, around the time Fantasy Flight's old games were going under, AMG was also launching their own pet project, Shatterpoint. A squad-based
what a
Star Wars
game,
miniatures
chat.
game that has an
So
awful
good.
lot in common with AMG's original success, Marvel Crisis Protocol. I've been told Shatterpoint actually plays completely differently than Legion, but from an optics perspective, shutting down both of Fantasy Flight's beloved space combat games in favor of another game visually similar to Legion that nobody asked for, added a bit of insult to injury for a lot of disillusioned players.
They just want... I don't think that's true. If you played X-Wing, then I can see why you'd think that. But it's just kind of... It's their skirmish to our big army battle game, right? It's... If this is... If Warhammer... If Star Wars Legion is Warhammer, this is their kill team. You know, it fills a different role. It's a lot quicker. Not as many models needed. Models are really nice. They're really big, which is fun. They're a lot larger than normal models because they're all on like 50mm bases. This is their skirmish game. Because they didn't have a skirmish game anymore. Well, they had Marvel. The Star Wars didn't have a skirmish game. The box set is pretty expensive from memory. Yeah, but it's also 2 full armies, not even like a starter set army, and a table of terrain. I think NG was hoping they could kill Legion. I don't think they were actively trying to... I don't think any company that is owned by the parent company that transferred the ownership of the game is trying to kill something. Legion is a skirmish army game. Shatterpoint is a hero game. Okay, well, this is like closer to like kill team than it is like an army game, right? I don't think they were trying to kill the game. I think they just, like I said, fumbled the bag, which is a bit different. Why would they try and kill a license that they have, you know? So they can launch their own? That'd never work. But also, it doesn't matter who made the game originally. It's their game now. And it's all owned by the same company. Why would they try to kill the game from their own company? That's just how you get fired. Asmodee just goes, you're fired. We need a new guy. They did make some money, that's that. Their parent company's still in debt. Yeah, maybe. I think the problem is X-Wing and Armada were just too expensive to make because of the pre-painted stuff. I think Legion was smaller, but Legion picked up from the death of X-Wing, probably.
Well, I don't exactly...
Whereas Shatterpoint is a skirmish game.
The game itself.
Hero, skirmish game, whatever. Whatever, you know what I mean.
I can't help but be reminded that there isn't a Star Wars space combat miniatures game anymore every time I see Shatterpoint mentioned. And though that's not entirely AMG's fault, I'm not sure how things went down will ever sit quite right with me.
But it's like completely different, right? They're completely different games. Good video, though. Good video. Don't always completely agree with the ending of like, well, Shatterpoint killed X-Wing. It's like, no. I think X-Wing had its problems, as did Armada. Armada had the same problems, but just exacerbated because of the nature of it. And then yeah, the production was just an issue. Sharpo was probably in development before they inherited Armada X-Wing Legion. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Yeah, the real death was Imperial Assault. What a fucking game that was. What a game that was. Imperial Assault was so fun. I never played the campaign, which I should have done. Hard down. Look at this as a starter set, though, chat. No, 400 pixels. Can I have one with, like, detail, maybe? Can I have one with, like, some details, maybe? Look at that for a starter set, bro. What a great time. What a great time that was. Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker, some random Jedi, Chewbacca. Ugh. Great time. Great time. Ugh. You're making me so nostalgic. This is what this is. It's just nostalgia about Star Wars, bro. Look at the... Oh, I want to play it again. It was so good. I only used to play the skirmish as well. I never played the campaign, but it was so good. There's a new Star Wars board game coming, is there? It's really not to see why. Mikey, have a look at Embracer Group's operating funds and Asmodee on Wikipedia. I mean, why are they losing money, though? What else do they own? Oh. Oh, dear. They own THQ Nordic. Holy shit. Rip. Embracer was in everyone's pocket. Yeah, clearly. Oh. Spun off this year, though. Yeah, what a fucking game that was. I fucking loved Imperial Assault. Ah, look at all those miniatures, all nicely painted. Do I still have the Rancor? I feel like I have the Rancor in box still. My painted Rancor somewhere. In a box, sorry. Wait, is he up here? Wait. I still have him. I still have him. Look, I still have him. This is from Imperial Assault. I kept it because I was so proud of the paint job. Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah, dude. With a 3D printed base. I don't know why I printed... Oh, I think I chopped the base off so I could paint it. 3D printed base. With a Stormtrooper on it. Hell yeah, bro. Oh, what a model. I forgot I had this. I was like, it's in a drawer somewhere. I'm like, no, it's literally behind me. I forgot it was behind me. I was so proud of this paint job, but it's not even that good. It's just a bit of airbrushing. A bit of airbrushing, that's it. Just the right tone. Imagine if a person was $41 million in debt. Clearly you don't know Elon Musk, bro. The Stormtrooper on the base. All dead and shit. Hell yeah. Jam, just a Star Wars game. What can I say? I played every Star Wars game and I still have models of it. I still have most of it. Oh, what a great time. God, I miss Star Wars games. I miss Star Wars games, bro. Anyway. Supposedly, there's been a little update. There's been a little update. To the app, to the 40k app. And they've updated the demon index. If every model from your army has a Chaos Knights or Heretic Astartes keyword, you can include Legion Demonica units in your army. Oh! Oh, game over! Game over, chat. It's game over. You can no longer take demon allies with Death Guard, World Eaters, or Emperor's Children. All Thousand Sons. A shadow update once again. Another shadow fucking update. Why do they keep doing this, bro? Why have they updated Death Calls of Krieg? Doesn't the new Colin stuff have Heretic Astartes? Oh, let's have a check, shall we? I don't think it does. I can't escape. Let me out. Nope. Nope. They do not. So we have 500 points now. Well, not if you're playing World Eaters. Agents of Chaos booking coverage for demons. Vashtor to give design space for more little weird freaks. Maybe, but basically you can take them if you're playing Chaos Space Marines, but if you're playing a Legion, you have to take that detachment. So if you want to play demons in your Emperor's Children army, you have to play Carnival. If you want to play demons in your World Eaters army, you have to play Demonkin. That one detachment. But yeah, what's the update to Death Calls of Krieg? What's changed? Have they just changed how... I wonder if they just changed this to make it more clear. I presume that's the only change. Top part is the same. I think it's just this then. Do my credits on me? No. No, I do not. I don't have my codex here, so I can't check. Yeah, it's got to be this, right? And then Legends Eldarion update. Is that everything today? I'm trying to see if there's anything else that's updated. It's so weird that they don't do articles for it anymore. They got rid of triple weapons. Again? Again, bro? No. Yeah, they haven't done an article for it to update like what's going on. The Vox thing changed. What Vox thing? That you have to have a Vox, you can't take a special weapon? You can't take Vox or plasma gun. I presume you mean and plasma gun. I didn't think you could do that anyway. But maybe that's why they've updated it. They've FAQ'd the war gear to make it more clear. If you're taking a plasma gun, you're not taking a Vox. Fair enough. Yeah, this is huge. This is huge. This really nerfs Death Guard. This really nerfs... I think it's just Death Guard, actually. Is it just Death Guard that it changes? Because they take Naglings all the time. Noise Marines are battle line? No way. Where's my phone, chat? I need to find my phone and see if I can update. BRB, I found my phone. I think I left it downstairs. Found it. Yeah, I was in the bathroom. You never guess what I was doing with it last. You never guess what I was doing with it last. Can I update? Oh, I'm ringing someone. Thank you, everyone who rang me. Appreciate you. Can I update now? No update for the iPhone. Oh, it does let me update. Noise Marine battle line just a bug. Yeah, Noise Marine's currently battle line. Or were battle line, which is probably why you can take them as battle line currently. Because they love not being able to actually make a fucking good amp. Someone's saying the points are wildly different. Let's have a look. I never ran demons in my worldies. It was only ever really naglings for that screen prevented scout moves for Death Guard. Yeah, that's pretty much it, right? They become battle line when you make Lucius your warlord, which is what happened with the index. Is clearly a bug. Yeah, definitely a bug. Didn't Death Guard get naglings baked in into that one detachment, mate? Yeah. Right, Demon Prince of Slanesh. I think this is right. Who said all these are wrong? Lord Exultant 80, that's right. Cacophonist 60, yeah. Lucius 140. Has someone been using their codex for points like a moron? Lucius 140, Sorcerer 60. Yeah, all these are correct. Battle line. Infractors 85. That's right, isn't it? Infractors. 160 for 10. I think someone's been using their codex for points and not the app. Or not the PDF. But yeah, you'll be able to take naglings in a Death Guard army, but you'll have to use the Demon Kin equivalent. That's crazy, isn't it? I kind of saw this come in, and everyone kept being like, "Oh yeah, you can actually take your Carnival Express, take 1,000 points of demons, and then take another 500 points of demons as an ally. If Lucius is a warlord." It's like, no, bro, that's not gonna last. Well, they got rid of it completely. Got to be absolutely, absolutely completely gone. Speaking of Emperor Children chat, I just want to let you know I am looking for some parts in our Discord. S-Place Discord in chat. I'm looking for a Keeper of Secret Sword, the Shalaxi Spear, and then any other demon accessories like jewels. And a Dexessa or Sinessa head. I don't care which. You know? I don't care which. I just need some. I've got the Demon Prince wings sorted now. I just need Keeper of Secret Sword and Spear. Will they still get to ally war dogs? As it stands, yeah. But if you want to play demons, they put them in the book because the index isn't supposed to be a thing. The index isn't supposed to be a thing, don't forget. That's why they got rid of it. You're making a kit to Ash Prince? I am. I am making a prince. I just need the bits for it. I left my phone in the bathroom for like 3 hours. Should just make them proper god characters instead of legion ones, and make the mishmash together and balance around that to encourage people to buy more models. Yeah, they left the demons in there purely to keep people happy. You know? Why can't you play demons with your chaos army? And they were like, let's put them in the codex and call it a day. Your phone is now correctly poo particles. So's my ass. Doesn't matter. Be right. It happens. Everything's covered in poo particles, bro. Anyway, Charles, pretty big news. Pretty big news. But this Friday, we've got an exciting one. Because we are going to be covering or streaming a game of Xeogenesis. It's a world first, which is super exciting. Xeogenesis is a game I've covered a couple of times. I did some painting on stream. I've also made a video about it. But it's a brand new skirmish mech game that's coming out, which is going to be super fun. And it's releasing on GameFound on Monday, I'd like to say. On Monday. And we're going to be streaming the game this Friday of it. So it should be fun. It should be a good time. It should be a good laugh. I'm looking forward to it. Me and Big C are going to be playing. So make sure if you are around Friday evening, come and tune in. Come and have a good time. And then next week we should be back to another 40k stream, another 40k battle report. But yeah, I'm excited to play this game. It's going to be exciting to play something a little bit different on stream. It might even be quite short as well. Supposedly each game's going to take like 35 minutes. Need inspiration for a second winged prince. Be interested to see what you're cooking. Yeah, I need the bits and I'll show you. I need the bits and then I can show you. Promise. Is anything else happening? Is that about it? I think that's about it right now. So I'm going to go. I'm going to go. Hopefully you enjoyed the stream. I enjoyed it. It was fun to chat about Star Wars games. It was good to reminisce about them. I'm excited to play some Star Wars games. I do have a Star Wars video coming out soon. Can you send me a list of bits? I've got them all composed. Oh, really? Yeah, I'm looking for it's the Keeper of Secrets mostly. Keeper of Secret Sword and the Shalaxi Spear. That's what I'm looking for. Or maybe it comes with, yeah, I want this sword. And then the Shalaxi Spear. And then any other bits you've got, like any dangly bits. Any accessories that come spare. Yeah, that sword, that spear. Preferably with the arm if you've got them. Dr. Goblin, don't leak. Maybe. Maybe. And any of these random bits that you got. That'd be cool. How many are they trying to get rid of this? How do they get rid of this at 4K? Was there an AOS model that works as good as a Demon Prince? The Demon Prince, maybe. I just need a head for it, but I wanted Dexessa. That's the one I want. Or Dexessa or Sinessa, whichever one's spare. I think this header goes so hard. That one. I want that one. But I don't know anyone who's ever bought this model. I don't know anyone who's ever bought this model because it's Age of Sigmar exclusive. But both heads look great. But which one is it? That one goes hard. It's out of stock in Australia, so at least one person bought it. Yeah, I don't know anyone who's out. Has anyone ever bought this? Have you ever seen one? I've never seen one in person. Have you checked bits and kits? I'm just asking around for now. I haven't checked bits and kits. But I've never seen anyone with a Dexessa. Anything more? Okay. Either nice. Dexessa, Talanos, Lanesh. Will Sigval be a good Emperor Children Demon base? Yeah, definitely. Out of stock. Out of stock. All the heads are out of stock. Is there any other good bits websites? Oval base, yeah, it's on oval base. It's a bit smaller than a demon. The demons not show up in 40k. Don't think so. Chaos, Hedonites, Keeper of Secrets. Spear out of stock. Sword out of stock. Too small for a keeper, too big for a demon prince. Yeah, so I just want the head. Bits box. They're gonna do it. Nope. Nope. No one does it. Anyway, if anyone can help me out, let me know. That'd be really cool. No one seems to have them in stock or available at all. So yeah, thanks for watching, chat. Thanks for hanging out today. If you can help me out, let me know. I've got a thread on the Discord, /point Discord in chat. It's free to join. It's the Buy Swap Sell channel. And today's been fun. Thanks for getting nostalgic with me over Star Wars games. Very cool, very epic. And yeah, interesting times for 40k. Interesting times for 40k. Lots of little changes. It feels like we're actually getting way more changes than ever, even though we were only getting changes every 3 months. It feels like we're just getting way more than normal. It's pretty wild. It's pretty wild. But I'll be back Friday for a cool game. I've got a video coming out next week as well. It's gonna be fun. Gonna be a good one. So thanks for watching. Appreciate you. And if I get those bits, I've got another video in the works. So thank you for watching. And bye bye. Bye 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 bye. Bye everyone. Bye. Bye. Thanks for watching. Bye.